Hello there. As you can see on the screen, my name is Howard Dembowski, and if you Google my name, I'm sure you might get one or two search results regarding what I've been up to over the last 12 years or so in respect of road traffic legislation and its enforcement in South Africa. Now, the purpose of these videos is to share a little bit of the knowledge that I have picked up over that period with you, because unfortunately there seems to be a general either misconception or lack of knowledge that has arisen out of a whole lot of hype that has surrounded the AARTO Act and its associated points demerit system, a lot of which has arisen out of a cry wolf situation where we've been told consistently year after year from this year or next year, the points demerit system will apply in the whole of South Africa, and that's not come about. And unfortunately, with cry wolf situations, eventually what happens is people start ignoring those warnings, and all of a sudden along comes the last cry wolf, and guess what? There's the wolf gobbling up the citizens. And I would hate for any of my fellow South Africans to end up in that kind of situation. The latest, of course, of these cry wolf situations was Minister Fikile Mbalula repeatedly saying that the AARTO Act would apply nationally in South Africa along with its points demerit system, and it was going to hammer you from the 1st of June 2020. And along came the coronavirus very conveniently to scupper that particular idea. In any event, it has now been widely publicized that the AARTO Act, with its points demerit system, will apply nationally from the 1st of July 2021. And this appears in draft regulations that have been published in the Government Gazette on the 2nd of October of 2020, giving you the opportunity to submit your objections, inputs, and comments to the proposed amendments, as they call them, within 60 days of the 2nd of October 2020. And just to put that into perspective, that means that you have until the 1st of December 2020 to make these inputs to the Department of Transport. Okay. Now, one would say, well, why should I bother? I'm a law-abiding citizen, so I have nothing to fear from a points demerit system, and I'm all in favor of the road safety objectives that are contained in this AARTO Act. So great stuff. I'm not going to worry about this. Well, I would like to urge you to think a little bit differently and to open your mind a little bit to what could possibly go wrong. And what could possibly go wrong in respect of the AARTO Act is the fact that more than 90% of the prosecutions or the traffic fines that are issued in South Africa are issued in respect of speeding offences that are captured on speed cameras, either fixed speed cameras or those that are based in the bushes to act as portable ATMs for the various traffic authorities. So what I hear you say, I don't speed, I abide by the speed limit. Well, here's a couple of shockers for you if you haven't been paying attention. First off, the prevalence of false number plates on vehicles in South Africa is on the rise. It has been ever since e-tolls were implemented in Gauteng, and it is not getting better. And trust me, when the AARTO Act comes into force on a national basis, it will get much worse. The reason being that if you don't want to get a traffic fine, just put somebody else's number plate on your vehicle, because more than 90%. And this is not some kind of conjecture on my part. This is contained in statistical information that is provided by the Road Traffic Infringement Agency. Go to their website, www.rtia.co.za, and you can download their annual reports, and they'll show you that consistently much more than 90% of the traffic fines issued are in respect of camera speeding fines. So if somebody else is riding around with your number plates on their vehicle, they're not going to get that fine in the post. In fact, nobody's going to get it in the post because the South African Post Office is absolutely useless. But in any event, that fine is not going to be issued to them. It's going to be issued to you as the registered owner of that motor vehicle, and it is likely to affect you. Now, there's another scenario which is an equally ugly scenario, and that is even if the number plates that are affixed to a vehicle are genuine, we have a problem in as much as the font that is used on South African number plates has a few peculiarities in it, in as much as the letters X and K look like one another, and the letters Y and V look like one another. So when a person who is capturing an infringement notice onto the enact system looks at that, they type in the wrong letter, and that letter might correspond with a letter in your number plate. Net result, you get the traffic fine. The other problem is that some of these people appear to suffer from a form of dyslexia, in as much as they will invert numbers. So number 1-2 becomes number 2-1. And again, you get the fine instead of the person who was allegedly exceeding the speed limit. And it's peculiar because they are supposed to be checking that the vehicle that comes up on enact matches the vehicle that is in the photograph, but they don't do that. I'll give you an example. I had a Yamaha 125cc motorcycle registered in my name, and I got a speeding fine for it, which I knew could not possibly have been genuine, because that motorcycle was lying in pieces in my garage. And when this thing arrived, I examined the photograph, and lo and behold, there was a black Audi A4 motorcar in the photograph, and no sign of any motorcycle whatsoever. Now, I took action, and I made representation to the Road Traffic Infringement Agency, saying this is not my vehicle. And fortunately, that infringement notice was cancelled. However, if you don't receive that infringement notice and you don't take action on it, so and it's not actually it's an and/or situation. If you don't take action, you receive it and you say, oh, bloody hell, that's not my vehicle, and you just scrunch it up and throw it away, then you are in for the high jump, because the AARTO Act is pretty much an automated system of traffic fine processing. It takes away the onus of the state to prove your guilt and thrusts that at you and gives you the onus to act on an infringement and to prove your innocence. And if you don't do that, then you will be prejudiced, and demerit points will be applied against your driving license, your operator card, or your vehicle license disc, depending on what type of entity you are in terms of the AARTO Act and the registering of vehicles, etc. But I'm going to get into those finer details in future videos, where I describe to you who the role players are in the AARTO Act and what this so-called adjudication procedure is, which is in fact an automation procedure, which will result in demerit points being applied to you, even if it is not you at all. So at this stage, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to ask you to look out for the next series of videos where I will describe these processes and these entities to you. And then once we've got past that, we can get on to what these regulations are all about and how you should possibly be considering making inputs on them. For now, thanks very much for listening, and please look out for my future videos. Thanks.